There are only two things guaranteed in this world: taxes and death. So far I've managed to evade taxes pretty successfully, so we'll see if I can do the same with death. But you know what couldn't evade death? The 3DS. Last year, I talked about the 3DS after the eShop was sent 6 feet under by Nintendo, and now the Reaper has come around yet again to claim the life of the remaining online functionality for this system. Today, we laid to rest several features from the 3DS. Not all of them were strictly necessary, and some may have even been at least marginally disliked in comparison to other comparable services. Looking at you, friend codes. But I think we can all agree, no matter what, these services were part of what made the 3DS special. They're indicative of a time where Nintendo was trying new things, a time where system themes had much more variety and options available than just black and white, and a time when handheld was actually pocketable. 3DS online services are survived by Pretendo, and while this service isn't perfect, we pray it'll help pick up the pieces left behind by this loss. Rest in peace, your magnificent back. Now more than ever, it's a good idea to mod your 3DS. It's still very easy to mod the system, and with Homebrew we were able to bring back community replacements for now defunct services, and even some services that went defunct long ago. Pretendo brings us a replacement for Nintendo Online Services and NNID, which fixes many games and services that rely on it to function now. But it doesn't fix my daily crippling existential crisis. There are, however, several services that relied entirely on local communication, and will thus work pretty much entirely as they were, even on an unhacked system. And of those services, none were more notable in my opinion than Street Pass. And my path to being able to play Street Pass started many moons ago. Spring Break 2013. Like any prepubescent teen, I spent my spring break with only one thing in mind: getting my hands on some voluptuous curves. The curves of the 3DS XL, because my soft baby hands would have gotten hurt on the sharp edges of the OG model 3DS. Can you blame me? I had no work experience as I was trying to spend my time getting mediocre grades and mooching off my parents as a teen, but this spring break was different. I was finally gonna get my hands dirty with some work in order to finally get my hands on a 3DS. And there's nothing more dirty than holding a sign for some politician on a street corner. And that was the day I sold my soul to the devil and became a true soulless ginger. Listen, I was a desperate teen and I would have sold my soul for a Klondike bar if I had been particularly famished that day. A week of utterly backbreaking work carrying the weight of some sleazy governor, and I had earned just enough to cover the cost of a 3DS XL and a copy of Mario Kart 7. It was all under the table and untaxed, because it wouldn't be from a politician if that weren't the case. The moment I had the money in hand, I hopped on my bike and took the 3-mile trek down to the local GameStop. The retailer that back then had a semblance of relevancy outside of a Reddit meme stock. I busted through the door, threw down my money, and said, I need a 3DS XL and a copy of Mario Kart 7. They proceeded to tell me, calm down and learn some manners or we'll kick you out, followed by them handing off the system and game, and then me making the 3-mile trip back home. Back then, when it was the choice between a 3DS XL and a PS Vita, the 3DS was the obvious choice for me. Why? Peer pressure. See, almost everyone at school had a 3DS, and the primary game everyone played during lunch and before after school was Mario Kart 7. So when it came time for me to grab a system and a game, what do you think I picked? Weren't you listening earlier? A 3DS XL and Mario Kart 7. This is why your parents secretly dislike you. I played a ton of Mario Kart 7, along with a few other games that had download play available. But there was one piece of software that was added to my regular routine to play during the bus ride home after school: Street Pass Plaza. Street Pass was one of the greatest innovations Nintendo has introduced to any of its handhelds. It's a feat that was only surpassed by Prometheus stealing fire from the gods. I mean, I guess fire is cool, but have y'all seen Street Pass? Street Pass was a system where 3DS consoles that were kept in sleep mode would exchange small amounts of information when they got in close proximity with other 3DS systems also in sleep mode. This data was pretty much just the chosen me for that user, the nickname, region, and some other data we'll talk about later. Passing by another 3DS owner and collecting this data was called a tag, and when you obtained a tag, your notification light would glow green. And when you saw that light, you knew that fun was afoot. That's afoot, not on foot, because I try to stand as minimally as possible, and I don't show my feet on camera because that's specifically for the OnlyFans subscribers. I know my worth. Introducing the Street Pass Plaza. This is where you go to see all of the currently unchecked tags. You meet them at this fun gate that was subliminally trying to get us to all please buy a Wii, we swear it's a decent console. And I'm decently sure I'm spiraling into the abyss of conspiracy theories, so we'll slam the brakes while the brakes are still controlled by us and not the government. Each me you tagged will tell you a quick message blurb, tell you their favorite game, and then walk past. Once you get through the list of all your unviewed tags, you can then use those tagged me's to play through various minigames. And those minigames use that some other data that I mentioned roughly 2 paragraphs ago. In Puzzle Swap, each tag would give you one of their collected puzzle pieces, and over time you could complete puzzles to view some really cool 3D animated scenes. But the other minigame, Find Me, was much closer to being what I would call a game. You use the me's you got from tags to go on an epic RPG adventure. The me's favorite color is what was shown on their shirt, and that color would also dictate which type of magic the me would cast. Street Pass would also track how many times you've tagged a specific person. This allowed you to send a custom message to someone the next time you tag them if they've been tagged by you more than twice. This also allowed Find Me to level up characters with each new tag, leveling them up. Now, astute viewers might have realized that the gameplay I'm currently showing is in Spanish, when I don't speak Spanish and my system is in English. Yeah, with the popularity of the 3DS dying, something else died too. Like the man I shot. Oh, that's just a prop. Because the real body will never be found. Now that everyone is carrying a Switch, almost no one is carrying a 3DS, and I seriously tried to obtain my own tags so I could record my own footage. I have a sick 3DS with a capture card that I installed myself, and I want any excuse to use it. I even put on my big boy pants and went outside! I brought it with me to work. I took it to Dave & Buster's when I went to play DDR Thrice. I rocked the Las Vegas Strip like some kind of tourist. A week and a half of keeping this brick in my pocket and having people question, is that a 3DS in his pocket or is he just happy to see us? I could not get this stupid FUD Parker to glow green. And that's when it truly hit me. The 3DS has been long dead, and the closing of the online services is just the final nail in the coffin. The fad of carrying the 3DS everywhere, collecting dozens of tags each day by just tossing it in my high school bag, getting several random street passes during out-of-state trips just by having the 3DS in my bag during the car ride. Street Pass may not be officially dead, as the functionality will still continue to work long after Nintendo shuts their online servers down thanks to the nature of being local communication. But from a societal standpoint, no one has these on them when they are commuting. We're pretty much all moved on to the Switch. And while I love my 5 Switch consoles, the 3DS just had a different charm to it. And it was much easier to consistently have with me because it was pocketable. And yes, I guess the Switch could in theory fit in a pocket, but come on, you look at this and tell me you would call this pocketable. So at this point, I think it's just time to give up on Street Pass. I can try in vain to get tags, but clearly no one else out there cares. Actually, apparently, there are others out there who agree with me. Not on the giving up on Street Pass part, but on the part where we enjoy Street Pass. The main reason I decided to do a video on this topic is because I was sent an email inviting me to participate in a special community Street Pass weekend event and make some content to talk about Street Pass. And frankly, when I finally get something to my inbox that isn't a Nigerian prince, male enhancement pills, or worse, a Nigerian prince selling me male enhancement pills, I have a hard time declining the offer. I even put a video I was already in the process of making on hold so I could get this one out on time. But what can I say? I like to feel important. Street Pass is still working even with the official online services shut down earlier this week, and this weekend from the 12th to the 14th, myself and other creators are creating content to help remind people about this old but gold feature. This is an event put together by Street Pass Lover, Nope. This is an event put together by Street Pass Love over on Twitter, and a Discord community also exists to talk about the 3DS and even plan local events together and collect some tags. Links to both the Twitter and the Discord will be below. And who knows, maybe some of y'all are Vegas folks as well, and we can eventually get events going in our own city. Heck, if you get lucky enough, maybe I'll end up like my pal here. Not found.